So Donald Trump is now feuding with America's cattle ranchers, telling them that they should be thankful for him, that they are not being grateful enough, after the cattle ranchers expressed frustration that Donald Trump is importing Argentine beef in order to deal with high beef prices. So here you see a tweet where Trump attacks the U.S. cattle ranchers for their high prices and suggests that they do not understand their own industry. He says that he understands their industry much better than they do. He writes, "The cattle ranchers, who I love, don't understand that the only reason they are doing so well for the first time in decades is because I put tariffs on cattle coming into the United States, including a 50% tariff on Brazil. If it weren't for me, they would be doing just as they've done for the past 20 years. Terrible. It would be nice if they would understand that, but they also have to get their prices down because the consumer is a very big factor in my thinking also." And Trump was not done there. He then wrote, "In addition to everything else, tariffs on other countries saved our cattle ranchers." It's just the complete opposite of the truth. It's just a complete and total lie. These tariffs are absolutely devastating our cattle ranchers, and they are feeling the effects. And importing Argentine beef is just yet another bailout for Argentina. It's nothing to do with America First and actually really hurts our farmers. Yesterday, Merriweather Farms wrote this whole long post. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but they said, "We love and support you, but your suggestion to buy beef from Argentina to stabilize beef prices would be an absolute betrayal to the American cattle rancher." It's time to learn who this man is, Merriweather Farms. "We understand that there are larger economic and geopolitical dynamics at play, including countering CCP influence in countries in our hemisphere. Argentina sells soybeans to the CCP. Donald Trump is helping the CCP by doing this." And maybe the craziest part about all this is Trump's plan doesn't even make any sense. Not only do the ranchers oppose Trump's Argentina beef imports, but experts say that it will not even lower prices at all. So here we go again, another Trump term. The farmers get screwed over again, and Trump says that they should say thank you. We'll keep covering all the news. Remember to follow along and listen to the Midas Touch podcast for more.
This is a complete betrayal of our farmers. The other day, President Trump announced that he cut a deal with Argentina that we're going to start buying their beef. And there was immediate backlash, of course, from me, but millions of others. This is going to undercut our farmers who are already struggling. And that's not very America First. Instead of saying, "My bad, so sorry, you guys are right," this is what he posted. "The cattle ranchers, who I love, don't understand that the only reason they are doing so well for the first time in decades is because I put tariffs on cattle coming into the United States, including a 50% tariff on Brazil. If it weren't for me, they would be doing just as they've done for the past 20 years. Terrible. It would be nice if they would understand that, but they also have to get their prices down because the consumer is a very big factor in my thinking also." Okay, it would be very nice if President Trump actually talked to a farmer. They are not the ones who are setting the prices. It's the four big meat packers and the retail store. Cattle prices for the farmer have decreased by 35%, while retail prices have increased by 8%. Like I reported yesterday, most farmers have second or even third jobs just to get by. Farmers are not being greedy. All they're trying to do is provide for their families. Meanwhile, the government has been over-regulating that allowed these four meat packers to gain so much power. Because now small packers literally can't afford all of the regulations that they have to go through. Instead of blaming our farmers, how about President Trump start deregulating the USDA like he said he was going to? But as always, let me know your thoughts about this and make sure you're following me for more.
Trump told the cattle ranchers to get fucked and like it. And when they all started whining about him importing Argentine beef, let's get into it. So this account here, Merriweather Farms, they've been over on Twitter kissing Trump's ass for years. I'm going to get out of the way, pause it so you can read it all, and then I'll get my fat face back in here. We love and support you, POTUS, but your suggestion to buy beef from Argentina, blah, blah, blah. I love this part too. On top of all of this, the only chaos is coming from the Department of Agriculture. There is no true guidance, mismatching the copious amounts of photo ops. The cattle ranchers are pissed, and Trump could give a fuck less. Here's what he told the cattle ranchers after they were whining about him importing the beef. "The cattle ranchers don't understand that the only reason they are doing so well for the first time in decades is because I put tariffs on the cattle coming into the United States. If it weren't for me, they would be doing just as they've done for the past 20 years. Terrible." Let's see what the cattle ranchers associations think about it and how well they're doing. This is a tweet from the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Cattlemen and women cannot stand behind President Trump while he undercuts the future of family farmers and ranchers by importing Argentinian beef. It is imperative that POTUS and Secretary Collins lets markets work without interference. If the administration is truly an ally of America's cattle producers, we call on him to abandon this effort to manipulate markets and focus on these things. It don't sound like they're doing too well to me, does it? I love nothing more than when he pisses in his supporters' faces and tells them to enjoy it. He tells them they're doing great when they're not doing great. It's what he does to the entire fucking country all the time. So I fucking love it when his supporters get it thrown right in their fucking faces what is happening in this country. And then they want to whine and cry about it. Look, let me tell you something. You don't owe these people any empathy. No one who voted for Donald Trump deserves your empathy. If they're losing their farms, if they're losing their ranches, if they're losing their health care, if they're losing their food assistance, they do not deserve your empathy. They show no one else any empathy. These people, these ranchers, these farmers, none of these Trump voters gave a fuck if he was harming other people. So do not give them the empathy that they do not deserve.
Soybean farmers, you are about to be treated like a fool by the Republican Party and Fox News and some of the mouthpieces. You're about to get flooded with all this information about how Trump just struck this massive deal for 25 million metric tons a year for 3 years with China of soybeans, right? Trump saved you. The Republican Party just saved you, right? Saved your farm. You were getting 27 million metric tons. You were selling 27 million metric tons last year under Biden. He made a deal for less. And that doesn't even take into account the 6 months from May to October where there was nothing. You were getting paid nothing. The American Soybean Association estimates that soybean farmers lost an estimated $10 billion in those 6 months. $10 billion. 6 months of worry and fear and how am I going to make payments and what is going on by soybean farmers. And now Trump and the Republican Party are going to swoop in and say, like, look, we just saved you. They're the motherfuckers who took it away in the first place with this tariff war. They're the ones who made your life shitty and made you live in fear. Now they're going to give it back to you and expect you to cheer them and be like, thank you so much. I can't believe you saved us. They're the fuckers who did it to you. Right? It's like a fucking robber coming up to you and stealing $27 and giving you 25 back and saying, are you going to thank me? Like, what the actual fuck? So watch this. Watch. It's going to be all over Fox. They're going to say, like, look at this historic deal. Incredible for farmers. I can't believe what he did for farmers. It's less than what you were getting. And you lost $10 billion in the process. Just think it through. They fucked you over. $10 billion. And now they're giving you less than what you were getting. I would not be happy.
Over the weekend, President Donald Trump put the cattle markets in a selling frenzy, catching the eye of a lot of cattle industry professionals when he stated consumers are paying too high prices for U.S. beef, and he intends on lowering those prices by importing beef from Argentina. With this announcement, cattle organizations uproared, stating that they do not support this idea by President Trump. U.S. Cattlemen's Association President Justin Tupper noted that the cost of producing beef today is accurately represented in the consumer markets where it's sold. Ranchers are facing historic highs for feed, fuel, labor, and land, and those costs have risen far faster than beef prices on grocery shelves. President Trump in the interview stated beef prices are about the only thing that hasn't lowered during his administration.
We would buy some beef from Argentina. If we do that, that will bring our beef prices down. Because our groceries are down, our energy prices are down. I think we're going to have $2 gasoline pretty soon. We're getting close. And everything's down. The one thing that's kept up is beef. And if we buy some beef, now I'm not talking about that much from Argentina, it would help Argentina, which we consider a very good country, a very good ally.
Now, several agricultural organizations are urging President Trump and his administration to put American ranchers first, and they all stated that they're ready to engage with policymakers to address this issue. The Montana Stock Growers Association released a letter saying they strongly encourage the administration to not intervene in the domestic beef market, as that'll have a potentially devastating effect on Montana cattle ranchers. Montana stock growers also mentioned interference in pricing not only threatens producers' livelihoods, but also jeopardizes long-term health of the U.S. beef supply chain. As always, we'll have official reports and current updates on this issue on our website,
So I live in an ultra-conservative MAGA community. I was raised to be ultra-conservative and MAGA, but our community was actually built on cattle ranchers. And yes, every single one of these cattle ranchers in my community have been diehard MAGA. So I want to read the letter that Trump wrote to them. To the cattle ranchers, who I love that I was able to hoodwink for their vote. They are too stupid to understand that the only reason that they could possibly have any success is because I, Donald J. Trump, taxed them and their consumers with the tariffs that I placed on foreign nations. In fact, if it weren't for me, they would have to go back to doing whatever it is that they were doing before the days of cattle ranching. But it would be nice if they understood that. But these cattle ranchers need to get their prices down, because the truth is I never cared about America first or the American farmer. If you don't believe me, just look what I did to the soybean market. I just sent $40 billion to Argentina to influence their elections. So that's why you, the American farmer, cannot have health care. And to the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, I read your response about how you cannot stand behind me. Well, I warned you. All you had to do was vote for me this one time, and that would be it. So thank you.
Hi my guy, welcome back to this channel. If you're turning in, please do well to like, comment and share, and turn on the bell notification. In that way, each time I upload a new video, you'll be the first to be notified. To my returning subscribers, you guys are the best. My new subscribers, oh my god, by the clip of video that you watched, I know that you have understood everything that went there. This Donald Trump is getting too much. Everything about him is just so fed up. He is doing too much for the farmers, seriously, and they are not finding it so funny. They are regretting every bit of their vote that they voted him, and he's not even changing anytime soon. So you that watch this clip of video, I want you to drop your opinion, drop your thoughts about what is going on in America, what Donald Trump is doing to the farmers. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and do not forget to like, comment and share. See you guys in my next video.